So a message came to me just now, and it was talking about the speaking of Job, okay, and Job and his long term suffering, okay. And it's like, why, right? Why would Job have to go through all that suffering, and why did God allow him to suffer and complain and lose everything, right? And not that Job wasn't upset with God, but or he wasn't mad or angry, or he didn't go through all these different emotions, okay, that were of a negative source. But Job still keeping his hands clean. Why did God allow Job to go through that? Okay, was it really based on just Job's lives alone? How many times have we heard the story of Job and realized that our problems were not as big or not as deep as we thought they have had to be? And how many times have we heard stories in the Bible with these different characters that, or different examples of these people went through and endured things that we couldn't even imagine enduring in our own lives, okay? But we have certain similar stories that regroup us or reprogram us, okay? Because that was the purpose in the plan. It's not to put people through all this type of suffering, but it is so that, can you imagine what Job's children and grandchildren heard when they heard their grandfather tell the story or their father tell that story? It would change your life, the story alone, knowing that your father or your grandfather endured such suffering, but in the end got back double the blessing. It would give you so much faith. Even Abraham, who's the father of faith, and him taking his child up that mountain to be sacrificed, and heaven changing its mind, okay? Or that angel coming and testing Abraham to see his faith, and his faith was so strong that God said, okay, you cannot do this, Abraham. And Abraham became the father of faith. Get into this message, okay? Get into this message. It is the mindset that is created, that when that person has endured all that and they create a child, that child is born with that mindset. So his children having the faith after he given birth, having given birth to a man who has been labeled as the father of faith. Job's children have been so obedient and deeply rooted in their faith with Yah that they would not even walk away from him during long-term suffering. And most importantly, they would keep their hands clean. It is the mindset, the spirit that comes with someone who has endured such a legacy, okay? And they give birth to a child was bigger than Job. It was bigger than Abraham, okay? It was bigger than Moses. It was bigger than David. It was bigger than the actual person. It was the legacy the people left behind, and the birth of a legacy gave birth to a nation. So have a great day.